Hey, this is Chelsea of Chelsea Cities. I'm coming here with the rest of my Riyadh Saudi Arabia experience video. Um, you see here, we took Saudi Airlines and we flew direct to Saudi Arabia from Virginia. And like I was saying in the previous video, this was a very uneventful um, experience and we enjoyed it. It was long, but it was doable, not so bad. All right. As you walk around Riyadh, we happen to be in an area we could see some of the city. Here you see a view of some of the city we saw, including a mosque, and I think that's a hotel. Um, we can walk in the neighborhood where we were staying and see this. And this is a close-up view of the mosque. You can see the one with the structure there. You can also see some of the city off in the distance there. It's the downtown area. So we were able to get a lot of exercise, and there was walkability in places, various places. So we were pleased with that. As we were walking around where we were staying, again, you notice that they have very um, the architecture kind of blends in with the terrain. It's all kind of this dark stucco or sandy colored cement, and it's quite nice. And you can see this here building on the right. Look at the window shutters. They're very unique, and I thought they were very nice to look at and kind of typical of what you would think would be in Saudi Arabia. So this video will be about some of the places that we visited. Um, One of the places that we wanted to go visit was the Al Masmak Palace Museum, and this is a historic fort. It's got a number of names. It's called Masmak Palace or Fortress or Fort, and I wanted to visit it because I thought it contained some historical information about Saudi Arabia. What it actually turned out to be is the site of the Battle of Riyadh in 1902, and it marked the prelude for the unification of Saudi Arabia. It was commissioned in 1865 by Abdullah bin Faisal Al Saud, and it was completed in 1895. Supposedly, it was open to the public in 1995. Unfortunately, we looked, and when the advertisement said that it was open, and this was from TripAdvisor, I think, and when we got there, it was closed for renovation. So, another tip is to check while you're there on on the land when you get to Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, or whatever city you're in, and maybe call them to make sure that the place is open. We also visit the Kingdom Center Tower. Like I said, this was a huge mall at the bottom, and this tower actually contains more than just the mall. The tower itself is 99 floors high, and you can take an elevator to get up there. Actually, there are two different elevators, but the center and the tower, they also contain a five-star hotel, some houses, luxury apartments, condominiums, and if you get to go up there, you get a nice panoramic view of Riyadh City. We went to the King Abdulaziz Historical Center National Museum, and we learned a lot, actually. There was a lot of information about their prehistoric times. They even had some fossil records. We saw caves, cave drawings. Um, we also saw some information about what kind of materials have been found all over Saudi Arabia. So this map shows what you will see about the minerals and where they are in Saudi Arabia proper, what was mined, what can be mined where. It also shows you about oil and when they struck oil and where they found it. So this was pretty important. Unfortunately, I had more pictures of inside of the museum, but some kind of way they got lost. So again, we're not sure what happened there, but sometimes the pictures just disappear. So the museum is in a nice area that has a number of buildings. It's a historic center, and this time they had this pyramid I thought was cool, so I took a picture of it. They weren't allowing anyone to walk through it, and they have guards stationed around for to police the area. But it was very interesting, and we learned a lot. Well worth seeing. The best tour that we did was the King Abdul Aziz Camel Festival, and this was a private festival tour that we took. So, if you're coming by yourself, I would assume that you would get on one of the tour sites. Again, I would recommend one of the local tours. Call them up and make an arrangement. You can't do this on your own, I believe. You have to drive through lots of desert to get here, and nobody wants to get lost in the desert. So the festival is an annual event where you learn about the cultural aspects of importance of camels to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Um, it's a annual, and it usually goes through the winter months, December to January. It's only a month, and includes things like the camel beauty contest, and they will show you information and tell you how they rate the most beautiful camel, the camel racing. And I've seen this on YouTube. Take a look if you haven't seen it. You can look it up and see how just amazing these camels are. And these are camel racing that doesn't include riders. And you can do falconry, and we didn't see any traditional battles, but I guess they have that. We went on a day that we weren't part of that group. All right, so you get in your private tour bus or however you're going to get there. I assume I would suggest a tour bus. And this is the kind of terrain you're going to drive through. So, cautionary tale. And we ran into some foggy situations. I mean, sandy situation. There was like a sandstorm. So, visibility decreased a lot. So, I don't recommend anybody just jumping in their car and driving out here. I think this is one of the sites for the camel racing. I saw this on the YouTube video. So, I wanted to take a picture of it because that racing is quite interesting. When we got to the place for our festival, we were greeted by a whole bunch of camels. You got to feed the camels. You got to see the baby camel here. And people were touching and petting the camel. And there were lots of children there, so they enjoyed it a lot. Those tents in the background, one tent they had a tea ceremony. We had traditional Saudi Arabian coffee, and they told us about their coffee and tea service, where how they make their coffee, and they gave us these some dates, and they were quite nice, and some pastries made out of dates, and those were very delicious. They were a big hit with everybody. The next tent, you can learn about the history of the different types of camel and when camels got to Saudi Arabia. There was a tent that had costumes for you could change into traditional dress and take pictures. They were doing henna for women. They were somebody was in there inscribing keychains or whatever pins with your name in Arabic. So everybody had a good time, and this tour included traditional meal, and that was quite nice. So, like I said, you go to the booth that has the information about the camels, and you get to learn about the different camels. I didn't know there were so many different camels and how they judge them for the beauty contest. And then, if you're lucky, you get to take a camel ride like we did. And it wasn't very far, but man, that the camels are really high off the ground. And the worst part, I think, is not getting up on the camel. It's when they have to get down to let you off. You are at a steep angle, and if you don't hold on to the pommel, you're going to fall off that camel. I think it was an experience that it was once in a lifetime experience, and we all enjoyed it. All right, I think that's all for my experiences in Saudi Arabia. I hope you enjoyed the video. Okay, thanks for watching the end of the video. I wanted to leave you with some tips and tricks. Um, so you can get an e-visa to Saudi Arabia. If you're a woman, you should purchase uh, an abaya. It's not required, but you should actually have it. At the airport, you should exchange for the Saudi riyal, or also called SAR. You could also check to see if you can get a SIM card, so you can use that, and I would check that at the airport. You want to pack loose clothing that covers your body, all right? And you want to have comfortable athletic shoes or hiking shoes because the terrain is dusty and unstable. If you stay in a hotel chain, you want to ensure that it's like a well-known chain, so you get the amenities that you're accustomed to. If you're a female solo traveler, book group tours, and the group tours are the best way you're going to see all the sites. If you go on self-guided tours, you want to keep in mind that the internet information for the sites may not be up to date, so calling ahead to check on hours is ideal. Um, you need to find out Saudi's version of Uber and Lyft to see if they're available where you want to go. We didn't use any of this. We had a private car because family members live there. So that is not my experience. But I think they do have this, and I know I saw taxis. So check into that. Where did we eat when we were in Riyadh? There are a number of good restaurants. We did a lot of takeout. They have a takeout service, and it's called Hunger Station. We ate at Shizan Indian restaurant, Mama Noora, the Albite chicken. It's fried chicken. It's excellent. Shrimp Nation. We ate at Crazy Pizza, and that's on the Diplomatic Quarter. And you can get on there if you have the right idea. Buttermilk, which is also a really nice home style Southern cooking. Al Mamlak Social Dining, and that's in the Kingdom Center. And they have really nice selections of food there. We ate at the Jay-Z coffee shop, and it's on the Diplomatic Quarter, and the Earth Cafe. And they also have your favorites, well, hopefully not your favorites, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, Krispy Kreme, and fast foods. All right, that's it for this video.